Coming soon in update 4.4, we will be getting our yearly 4 to 5 star demotions. Once the update is out, the very next banner, which is the Fates banner, if you're watching this beforehand, will have all of these units dropped into the 3 to 4 star summoning pool. You will no longer see them as 5 star pity breakers, which is a good thing for the most part. In this video, we are going to do a brief overview of all 9 demoted units, in which we'll discuss who is worth using due to some kind of unique traits. We will also discuss what kind of skills are now a little easier to get a hold of. As a reminder, due to recent changes, we now have 4-star focus units on new banners. Those 4-star focus units get dropped into the 3 to 4 star summoning pool after their banner is over, which means the 4 to 5 star summoning pool doesn't really exist anymore. There is one exception, which is Echidna, who released post book 4, and unless anything else changes, she is actually the only unit in that 4 to 5 star pool. Just something to keep in mind if you want to get her. We'll begin with our blue units, then green, and end with colorless. No red demotions this year. Starting off the batting order is Mordecai, who is a blue beast infantry unit. In terms of stats, Mordecai has 47 HP, 37 attack, 24 speed, 39 defense, and 20 resistance. He is basically the beast version of Lucas with high HP and attack and defense with low speed and res. For his weapon, Mordecai has Saber-Tooth Fang. It has 14 might normally, but when transformed, Mordecai would gain +2 attack, which brings it up to the standard 16 might. Saber-Tooth Fang will also give Mordecai +3 defense, beefing him up even further. As for its unique effect, if a movement assist skill like Smite or Reposition is used by Mordecai or targets Mordecai, inflict -4 to all stats on foes within 2 spaces of unit and target through their next action. Saber-Tooth Fang makes Mordecai one of the most unique support units around. Like a Link B skill, Mordecai must interact with an ally with a movement assist skill, and after the movement occurs, both Mordecai and his ally emit a 2-space debuff on enemies. Mordecai actually comes with Smite, so you can think of this as Mordecai smiting his teammate into the enemy team, and the teammate can apply the stat debuff. It's a neat little effect. In terms of self-combat power, Saber-Tooth Fang does offer some bonuses. Infantry beast units deal +10 damage when special triggers, so it's like a built-in Wu Dao effect. Looking at the rest of Mordecai's kit, we'll find a very well made unit. As mentioned, he has Smite to activate Saber-Tooth Fang, and he also comes with attack and defense link. This combo allows Mordecai to buff the ally he smites with +6 attack and defense, and will debuff the enemies too. That is the basics of Mordecai's tactics. As a reminder, Mordecai will also receive the attack and defense link buffs and emit the debuff from himself as well, so you can actually move him into the enemy team if you want. For his C skill, Mordecai has Beast Experience 3, which grants double XP to Beast allies purely for training purposes. Definitely change it out for something else later. While most use Mordecai for his Smite debuffing support, if you want to give him some fighting power, then Quicker Post is the easiest set to utilize. If you play around his transformation, you may also want to get special cooldowns and special triggers, get another 10 damage. Something like Steady Breath would be pretty great. While not for everyone, Mordecai is a pretty unique physical damage tank / support hybrid. Very neat unit if you're looking for a different type of playstyle. Next we have Thea, who is a Lance Flyer, adding to the ever-growing low rarity Lance Flyer pool. She has 37 HP, 31 attack, 35 speed, 31 defense, and 28 resistance. Thea basically specs into everything pretty evenly. She is somewhat fast, has more defense than the average Pegasus Knight, and her res isn't too bad either. 37 HP and 31 attack are a little on the low side, but are still serviceable enough. If you plan to use Thea, she does come with a build that tries to differentiate her from the pack. She has the inheritable Vanguard plus Lance, which grants +7 defense on the enemy phase, and it's a great defensive weapon. Thea also has Steady Posture 2, which grants +4 speed and defense on the enemy phase. In total, that's an easy +11 defense and some extra speed, which can turn Thea into a speedy physical damage tank. Both of these skills are great if you want to boost defense, but they're obviously defensive in nature. Thea also comes with Ignis, which is fine for defense stacking units, and she also has Seal Speed and Defense 2, which applies a -5 speed and defense debuff to the enemy Thea fights after combat. Seal B skills can be annoying, but generally aren't used often because leaving enemies alive isn't the best strategy, so most players would rather want something that helps kill the enemy in one round, like Quicker Post. Overall, Thea isn't a bad Lance Flyer if you wanted to make a more balanced unit. She does have to compete with a lot of refined weapons on the other low rarity Lance Flyers, and if you wanted a defense stacking Lance Flyer, there are a lot of options out there. There is also Echidna, who is a monster physical damage tank comparatively, but if you want way more speed and resistance, then Thea does have her uses. Third, we have Racin, who is a green beast flyer. If I had to choose one demoted unit that everyone should actually level up and use, it probably has to be Racin. He is a dancer, but he has unique abilities that other dancers cannot provide, and is only matched by his sister Leanne, who is a 5-star unit. For stats, Racin has 37 HP, 29 attack, 34 speed, 24 defense, and 26 resistance. Definitely a little on the frail side, but that is to be expected of a dancing support unit. That said, Racin does have a good amount of speed, which is generally a safe stat to invest in for dancers. If they can prevent a follow-up attack, their survivability increases, and if they can get their own doubles, then their damage output also goes up. For his Heron Wing weapon, it has 14 might, which goes up to 16 might when transformed. It also gives Racin plus 3 speed, bringing him up to 37 speed, and a speed boon already bumps him up to 40, which is really solid. For its effect, at the start of the turn, Racin will heal all allies within 2 spaces for 7 HP. That is an extremely solid effect for a non-healing support unit. While not a huge amount of HP, 7 HP every turn adds up and can help your tank sustain better over longer fights. In addition, when transformed, Racin will also gain +1 extra movement. This is so strong for a dancer because it can help Racin keep up with the units he dances, or I guess sings to. As a flying unit, he also can bypass terrain obstacles, meaning Racin can get around difficult maps and can also keep up with other flying teams. Racin is also extremely dangerous when paired with Tabarn and Naysala, 2 more beast flying units. These guys can move 3 spaces and Racin can dance one of them to move another 3 spaces. It's pretty incredible when you add in Gale Force 2. For the rest of Racin's kit, he comes with Sing to get his allies moving again. He will also come with Steady Posture 2 for some defensive measures. He definitely cannot take a bunch of hits, but Racin can fend off against blue units just fine for the most part. For his C skill, Racin comes with Fortified Beast, which grants +6 defense and res to adjacent beast allies. A healing and defense and res buffer is basically the best combo you can ask for if you want to make a beast team with a dancer. Overall, Racin is easily one of the units everyone should have around at 5 stars. His utility is really good and he can protect himself to some extent. Now, you do need to be careful of what teams you pair Racin on. For example, his healing may mess up any desperation users you have or units relying on Vantage for a kill. Ideally, he best serves on teams that want some healing but can't afford an actual healer. Just a fantastic unit for any player. Our second green Demoted unit is Python, who is a Greenbow Cavalier. He has 38 HP, 32 attack, 35 speed, 31 defense, and 20 resistance. Python actually has some direct competition with Wrath, who became a 3 to 4 star unit this year. The biggest difference is that Python has 8 more defense than Wrath, and in general that is Python's advantage over the other Greenbow Cavaliers. He is your choice if you want to focus on taking less physical damage. For the most part though, Python can focus on offense with a decent 32 attack and 35 speed. He's not the best, but he can make do. For his weapon, Python has the Shortbow Plus, which deals +10 damage on special trigger. A low cooldown special like Moonbow means more opportunities for this to activate, and more speed means better chances at doubling. Python will also come with Steady Blow 2, which grants +4 speed and defense on the player phase. Not the most amazing A skill, but some units don't mind using it if they want more speed with some protection. Speaking of protection, Python also brings us Blue Tome Breaker. This breaker was actually not on a summonable unit beforehand, so now is a good chance to get it. Overall, Python is a decent Greenbow Cavalier, but we also have Wrath as a low rarity option. He does bring a couple of nice skill options though. Our third green Demoted unit is Echidna, who is an infantry axe unit. She is sort of the equivalent to Libra from last year's Demotions as an axe unit who can kinda do all sorts of things. Her stats include 45 HP, 34 attack, 36 speed, 30 defense, and 27 resistance. Very impressive stuff. Echidna is very fast for an axe unit and has a great 45 base HP. Her 30 defense isn't incredible, but when paired with 27 res, it means she can do both physical and magical damage tanking. For her weapon, Echidna brings the Rearguard Plus Axe, which grants +7 defense on the enemy phase. Like the Vanguard Lance, this is a nice defensive weapon, and with a stat refine, you can become very tanky. For her special, Echidna has Soul for extra healing. Her A skill is Brazen Speed and Res, which grants +7 speed and resistance when under 80% HP. Not a combination many units will want, but it's more available if you want that extra speed. For her C skill, Echidna has Drive Attack, which makes its 4-star debut. Very simple +3 attack for allies within 2 spaces. Can't really complain about that one. Considering Libra's popularity from last year, I think it's safe to say that Echidna will be another popular merge project for many. She has great base stats to work with, and high base HP is valuable as well. You can use her with the Rearguard Axe, or swap that out for something like a Slang Axe, Woe Gun, or one of the Guard Axes. In terms of fast infantry axe units, Echidna is the best option for the low rarities. Our first colorless demotion is Brady. He's an infantry healer with 41 HP, 33 attack, 32 speed, 23 defense, and 20 resistance. Low rarity healers don't really have a lot of expectations on them. That said, Brady will be one of the better healers that won't instantly kill over when attacked. 32 speed is decent, and if he can avoid a double, he should be able to survive a fight. With 33 attack, he also isn't the worst option for a more offensive healer with Wrathful Staff. He would need a lot of premium skills to actually be scary, but if you want to plus 10 him, I'm not going to stop you. Now for skills, Brady has Slow Plus, which inflicts -7 speed and an AoE. He also has Recover Plus, which is probably the best general purpose heal. His special is Heavily Light, which grants plus 10 HP to all allies when it procs. Solid set of skills for any healer. For his A skill, Brady has Attack and Res Push 3, and it's at 4 stars. This grants plus 5 attack and res when at 100% HP, but deals 1 recoil damage, so you need to recover HP to keep using it. It's not the worst skill for a healer since they can use Live to Serve or Renewal, since they shouldn't be fighting all the time anyway. Should 100% be noted that the tier 3 push skills are way worse than the new tier 4 ones though, so don't expect anything insane. Brady also does come with another rare skill, Infantry Rush 3, admittedly not a skill I see very often, but it has potential. It grants all infantry allies within 2 spaces the Heavy Blade effect. You can obviously need to pair it with a unit that has very high attack, but getting them more specials can be game changing. Could be a very interesting skill to experiment with. Overall, Brady is a decent healer demotion, his stats aren't bad and he comes with some rare skills. Recover Plus and Heavily Light is also a really good set for any healer to inherit. Next we have another infantry healer, Mercedes. Very similar build to Brady, Mercy trades some speed and physical bulk for higher resistance. She's another healer that would do fine if you really wanted to invest in her, but she's gonna need some better skills. Her staff is Gravity Plus, which inflicts the gravity status on all foes adjacent to the enemy. Very annoying staff when used with the Dazzling Staff are fine. Mercy also has Martyr Plus for her healing skill, which heals more for the less HP the user has. Her special is Imbue, which grants extra HP to the healed target. While Gravity is a good staff, I would prefer the Recover and Heavily Light combo that Brady offers. For her A skill, Mercy has ARD, Speed and Res 3. This is an Aether Raid's only skill that works for defending teams. It can grant up to plus 10 speed and res if you have 5 or more defensive structures on the map. That boost goes down with the less structures you have. Now I'm pretty sure this variant is the only one available on a non-5-star limited unit. The defensive variants are also not complete garbage like the offensive version since you can control where you place your structures. Personally, I do think these skills have value, you just need to have an appropriate defense map and team. Plus 10 speed and res is no joke and it works on both phases. Even if it becomes a plus 7 boost, that is still worthwhile. While I think the attack variants are by far the best ones, this speed and res version is going to be the most obtainable by far. Finally, Mercy also comes with Odd Res Wave 3 at 4 stars. This wave buff grants plus 6 resistance to the user and adjacent allies every odd number turn. Very solid skill and a nice addition on a lower rarity unit. While Brady and Mercedes aren't game breaking, they both bring some interesting skills into the colorless pool. Our next colorless demotion is Noren. She is a colorless infantry archer with 42 HP, 32 attack, 36 speed, 31 defense, and 27 resistance. In a similar vein to Echidna, Noren is an extremely solid demotion and a unit that can run many types of builds. Her offensive spread isn't as crazy as some archers, but she has a lot of more defensive bulk. To put some things into perspective, Bright Cordelia, who was the star archer from Gen 1, has 35 attack and speed with 147 BST. Noren may have less attack, but she has 168 BST, that is a 21 stat point difference. Noren would be a much more resilient archer than many and her offensive power isn't bad either. Her solid physical and defensive bulk is paired with the guard bow for another plus 6 defense and res when against ranged foes on the enemy phase. She also has brazen speed and defense for plus 7 speed and defense when under 80% HP, plus she has speed and defense link for plus 6 buffs. With reposition being one of the best assist skills around, Noren brings a ton of good fodder skills to the lower rarities. Speed and defense link being 4 stars is also very nice. Just as a reminder for newer players, you can get the guard bow by refining the assassin's bow from Setsuna. You don't have to use a Noren to get that weapon. While Noren may not have her own unique weapon, she could be a cheap speedy guard bow user. You could give her steady posture to pair nicely with speed and defense link buffs for more upfront power. You could also double down with a brazen sacred seal. Something like brazen attack and defense or attack and res could be fun. If you want to go on the offensive, there is the slaying bow, short bow, or brave bow. Tanya, who is another 3 to 4 star archer, also has the shining bow. Lots of options available and you can select an appropriate boon if you manage to get a lot of copies. Last on today's list is Tethys. She's an infantry dagger dancer with 38 HP, 27 attack, 35 speed, 23 defense, and 34 resistance. Pretty similar situation as Racin, but Tethys does have a lot more base resistance, which is going to be important. She definitely won't be an offensive dancer, but that's okay as dagger weapons offer more utility through natural debuffing, and Tethys can hold her own against a mage. Her weapon is the Cleaner Plus, which grants bonus attack based on the total bonuses on the foe during combat. While handy, you probably won't want your support unit to be fighting a fully buffed up enemy. Tempest will also come with Dance, naturally, and her A skill is Speed and Res Bond 3, which grants +5 speed and resistance when next to an ally. Not a bad skill, Tempest herself uses it well, and it's going to be available at 4-star rarity. Her C skill is going to be Dagger Experience 3, which grants double XP to Dagger allies, another training skill, not really a huge must-have. Compared to Racin, Tempest lacks a unique weapon, she can't fly, and she can't move 3 spaces nor heal allies. However, Tempest makes extremely good use of an inheritable dagger called the Tamari Plus, which is from Nearest Air. This weapon has sabotage attack and speed, where any enemy with 3 or less res than Tempest who's adjacent to another enemy will be inflicted with -5 attack and speed debuffs. Tempest has a good starting 34 base resistance, and you can refine the Tamari Plus for extra resistance as well. Add a res boon with a res increasing A skill, and she can easily pass into the 40s, which should cover most enemies. Here's an example of what I have on my own Tempest using the Tamari Dagger. I have very much enjoyed using this build, as Tempest applies debuffs without needing to fight, and as a dancer, dancing is her main priority anyway. As a bonus, she can also run deploy C skills and sacred seals, plus she could run an actual sabotage B skill too. Nearest Air is a heroic rail unit, so you can grab a copy anytime if you are okay not investing in her. Besides running the Tamari Plus build, having more dancers is never really a bad thing. If you're newer to the game, it's always nice to have more backups in the barracks. To end this video, here's a review of what skills you should keep in mind when getting these units. For Mordecai, Attack and Defense Link is a handy buffing B skill. From Thea, you can get the Vanguard Plus Lance for more defense, and Steady Posture offers extra speed as well. Racin also has Steady Posture and also is the only source of Fortified Beast if you want to make a Beast Emblem team. Python brings the Shortbow Plus into the low rarity pool, and he has Steady Blow for player face speed and defense. He also has Blue Tonebreaker, which can be great for budget builds. For Echidna, she has the Rearguard Plus X for extra defense. She also has Brazen Speed and Res, and is the only source of it currently. Drive Attack is available at 4 stars, and it's just a generally useful skill. For Brady, he has Attack and Res push 3, not the best, but not the worst skill if you don't plan to fight often. He also has Infantry Rush, which is quite rare, being able to provide Heavy Blade for teammates. Mercedes has ARD Speed and Res, which is going to be the easiest to get 8th raids only skill. Odd Res Wave is also a nice buffing option. Noren has the Guard Bow Plus if you don't want to upgrade the Assassin's Bow. She also comes with Reposition, Brazen Speed and Defense, and Speed and Defense Link, all of which are pretty decent skills. Last we have Tempest. The Cleaner Plus can be found on the Gold as well, but here's another source for it. Tempest also has Speed and Res Bond, which is a nice A skill. All in all, this isn't a bad class of Demotions to end on. Going forward, we should only be getting instant 3 to 4 star units thanks to the 4-star focus unit mechanic introduced this year. Only Per Altena will be in the 4 to 5 star pool, I guess for a whole year. Hopefully you guys can get more of these units if you wanted to use them, and let me know if you plan to merge any of them. If you are, good luck on getting those copies, and I'll see you guys in the next video.